I'm Mwanzaglan, fashion designer.
I am Javonka Williams, your Guyanese Queen of Pop.
My name is Hashim Ali. I'm a creative director here in Guyana.
Hey guys, this is Omaya Hall.
My name is Ramar. I'm a rapper, singer, songwriter.
I am Shukwana Holder, Miss Guyana Culture Queen 2024 and Miss Caribbean Culture Queen 2024.
Hi, my name is Kaya and I'm a singer-songwriter.
Hi, I am Alia Mizir, Miss Teen Charm Guyana 2025.
Hi, I'm Onika Nar. I am Guyana's celebrity makeup artist.
Hey guys, this is Jason Shurland. I'm on the showroom with Orlando.
Welcome back to another episode of The Showroom with yours truly. My name is Orlando. And on today's episode, I have a special guest. I have Guyanese designer Jason Shurland. Jason, I want to say thank you for taking the time out to come in the showroom with us, man.
This has been long overdue.
It has, I know, right?
The time that I was so busy.
Yep.
And the time to get here, I just said, you know what, I need a break from work.
Yeah.
And 3 days break is good enough. And I decided I needed to do this because you've been asking me so long and I don't like to disappoint people.
That's what happens when you're one of the top designers in Guyana. You're always booked out. You're busy.
Well, that's what happens when you take your work serious.
When you take your work seriously, too. So let's start from the beginning. Let's talk about your early life growing up in Georgetown and what were some of the hobbies you were into?
Growing up in Georgetown, I grew up in a closely knitted family. My siblings were not far apart and my cousins were not far apart. So my grandfather took that role, and even though some of us had our fathers and some of us did not,
Yeah.
my grandfather took that role to say, I just want you guys to play with each other and not get mixed up in the neighborhood and be into arguments and fights and stuff. So he groomed us to where we at right now. And I think that's why I have this kind of homeboy kind of attitude.
Yeah.
That I feel as though I love to be home. I love to be home in my peace, quiet, watching CSI, watching Judge Judy.
Yeah.
That's me. So I think my grandfather instilled that in me. And then from there, I think one of my greatest memories I could remember is my mom asking my my nursery school teacher,
Yeah.
how am I doing in school? And how does she think that I'm gonna move in life? I don't know why my mom asked that. And I remember my Miss Nina. I could remember Miss Nina till now. She's such a nice teacher. I remember Miss Nina said, he's gonna do good. He's gonna do something with his hands.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but he is really good with his hands.
Okay.
And I sat down, I remember that just a few years ago that Miss Nina said that to my mom while we were in the market.
Where your town did you grow up?
I grew up in Western World.
West Fromveld, okay. So you're in a primary school right around that area?
No, actually, it was hard to get in. Back then, Western World was the top school that everybody's fighting to get into.
Oh, yeah?
So it was very hard for my mom to get me in there.
Okay.
Very hard.
How many siblings?
I have just one.
Oh, just you
But
and
I
her?
have another cousin that grew very close to me.
Yeah.
And I actually consider her my sister. And she's just a year older than me. So she was always the one who got me into trouble.
Yeah.
Because she would push me, because she's older, she'd push me, she'd be like, oh, let's do this. I remember one time, I don't know, she saw her mom shaving her leg with a razor, and she told me, she's like, Jason, this thing is take off here. And I was like, true? And I took that razor and I shaved my eyebrows off like this. And
Yeah.
he went and sat down in front, and my mom looking at us, because I came in front like this.
Yeah.
And my mom said, what were you guys doing? And she looked at me. She's like, move your hand from your face.
Yeah.
And she saw that eyebrow gone. And I remember that we got some licks.
Yeah.
We got some licks for that day.
Shave off the eyebrows. So how was your high school experience? Was it okay?
I think it was good. But at the same point in time, I think because I was very quiet and very reserved,
Yeah.
that was where some persons took advantage of me. But I had very close friends that are friends with me till now. They were the persons I kept very close to. I wasn't like the friendliest kid because, as I said, I grew up in a closely knitted family.
Yeah.
So when getting out in the public and stuff, I would be more observant of who I wanted to be my friend.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But it was good.
Okay. And then after high school, what was like your first real job that you had?
Well, after high school, I went on to study to be a chef. And I spent 2.5 years in the Carnegie School of Home Economics.
Nice.
And from graduating, I went on to my first job. Actually, I went on to work with is motor racing club.
Oh,
then
does GMRC? Yeah, okay.
I looked at it. It was very good. I helped grow the business, and then I said, you know what, it's time to leave. And then my mom saw opening for the U.S. Embassy. They were asking for a private chef.
Nice.
And she said, Jason, you know what, send it in. And I looked at it and I said, you know what, but I don't have the degree yet. I only had the diploma stage. And she said, you know what, you never know what's going to happen. Send it in.
Correct, yeah.
I sent that in, and the first time I got called for the interview, I could remember the woman name clearly. Her name was Margarita, very nice woman. She asked me all the questions, and mind you, Margarita, the name alone, Spanish.
Spanish, yeah.
So she could speak English, but then she would roll her tongue with everything.
Yeah, I got you.
So I left that interview and I said, you know what? I'm not getting that job. I could not understand what that woman was saying.
Okay.
And I kept asking all the time, could you repeat that question, please?
Yeah. And was the interview right at the embassy also?
The interview was right at the embassy.
Okay, nice.
But one of the things I did that I could remember now, I made sure I was friendly with everybody at the embassy, the security guards, the secretary. I introduced myself to every single body. So by the time I got called back for the second interview, people that already know who I was.
Nice.
So when I got into the second interview, I got an email. I said, okay, this seems to be heading down my road.
Yeah.
I did the second interview, Margarita again, same Spanish again, and I said, you know what, I don't understand this at all, but I'm just going with the flow.
Yeah.
And then it took a while, and then I got called for a third interview.
That's a lot of interviews, yo.
Yeah, the U.S. Embassy does not make joke.
Yeah, obviously they gotta make sure your
do not
background is everything. Yeah.
Make joke when they getting persons for a job. You go through from one person to the next.
Yeah.
And the third time I got called, I saw two other persons there with me, and they were more mature, and I was the only young person sitting there. But remember, I told you at that point I had already was friendly with everybody. So security had already know me. The secretary had already know me. The 7th security that I had to pass, she would already know me. They're like, Jason, I just want you to get this. You're gonna do good.
Yeah.
And I remember leaving that interview, and I didn't leave my other job as yet. I left that interview with Margarita and the person who was then going to be my boss.
Okay.
I did not know. I just thought to myself, okay, like we're going through this, and maybe this is also another interview. I did my best at that interview. I was the most friendliest person, I think, in my mind.
Yeah.
And I left and I went back to my other job. And by the time I could have left that interview in 50 minutes, I got a call saying that, oh, Jason, we're going to hire you. We have 2 other persons to hire, to interview. But my heart is saying go with you.
Oh, nice.
And my boss at that time was Mrs. Pierce. And I remember she said to me when I got the job, she said, you know what? Everybody at the embassy, I was 21.
21, yeah.
Everybody at the embassy said, you know, he's too young. Go with a more mature, older person and stuff. And she's like, she has a kid around the same age as me.
Yeah.
She's like, somebody has to give these children an opportunity.
Yeah.
And I'm going to give him this opportunity.
Nice.
And before she left, because she was just my starting boss. Initially, I was hired for the U.S. ambassador to Guyana.
To cook for them?
To cook for them.
Okay.
And she and her husband were the deputy.
Okay.
And they were just my startup to get me into knowing how you handle stuff and everything. I actually did a trial run for them.
Yeah.
And when I did my trial run,
do you remember what you made?
I remember everything that I actually did.
Oh, nice.
I remember like they were just telling us to just come and just cook or whatever. I remember just buying flour, setting up a whole table, buying napkins, and I did this with my own money.
Yeah.
I bought fabric, sewed napkins, everything, because I said to myself, if I'm going to have a chance at this, let me do my best.
Yeah, make a good first impression.
If I'm going to lose, I'm going to be like, okay, well, I did what I had to do, and that's it.
Facts, yeah.
And she called people who were at the embassy, and they were like, oh, we want to come over, we want to see the new chef and everything. And the dinner ended up from like 4 persons to like 15 persons.
Oh, and everybody wanted to come
everybody wanted to come. And then she took pictures of when I was setting up the table, and she sent it to the embassy, so everybody was even more excited to come because
Nice.
I was like, you know, we just expect him to come and cook, and we were going to taste. We didn't expect all of this.
Yeah.
And I got a call maybe like a month after. Like, Jason, the job is yours. And I signed my contract. And I worked with her maybe like 6 months the most.
Yeah.
It was heartbreaking to leave her because her and her husband were really nice people, really nice energy, really nice boss. They are actually the people why I have this hairstyle. They went to a show in Guyana a weekend,
Yeah.
and I got in back the Monday. And I remember she came to me, she's like, Jason, you need to grow your hair out. I looked at her and I was like, okay. She's like, we went to a show, there was a guy with this like big poofy hair.
Yeah.
And she's like, my husband and I said to each other, Jason's gonna look good with that. And he came in for work actually, and he said, oh, did Mrs. Priest tell you that we wanted you to grow your hair? Which boss do you know asked you to grow your hair?
Yeah, that's
And
different.
I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try it.
Yeah.
It was very weird because coming from a Guyanese culture, you never expect that a boss would tell you something like this. Like, you know, you need to grow your hair. The first thing people, when they see you with hair like
They
this,
want
is
you
like,
to cut it.
like, cut your hair off. Like,
Yeah,
we don't
keep it
want
low.
this.
Yeah, exactly.
And I was very much comfortable with that. I grew my hair out, and she was part of the process. Even when she left Guyana, she would call video chats and say, let me see how your hair looks. And she's like, oh, it looks like the way we saw it now.
Nice. So how long did you stay at the racetrack before you got over to the embassy?
I didn't spend long at the racetrack. I think I spent maybe like a year at the racetrack.
Yeah.
I helped build the business because I went into it and I saw potential where it could have gone. And I said, you know what? I spoke to my boss and I said, this is what I think we should do and we should grow, whatever.
Yeah.
And when I actually went to the cons department at night, then I knew that we were pulling in like $500,000
Oh, yeah.
on my shift.
That was good.
We were doing well, and when the cons department showed me the book before, that they were just pulling in like, the business was actually failing. They were like pulling in like $20,000 a night.
Wow, really?
Yeah, and we went from that to like $500,000 a night.
So the food got better.
The food got better. Service got
Service
better.
got better, yeah.
And I started introducing much more that people would want at that
To the
particular
menu.
restaurant. Yes.
Okay. So you finish high school, you go to Carnegie. You do 2 years and change at Carnegie. Then you go to the racetrack and work. And while there, you go and interview the embassy. You get that job. And you spend only 6 months there, roughly?
At the embassy?
Yeah.
No, I spent almost 5 years at the embassy.
Oh, so wait, you spent 6 months with the first boss?
My first boss, yes.
Oh, you spent 6 months. Oh,
I spent 5 years at the embassy. I went from how many deputies? I think I did 2 deputies and I did 2 ambassadors.
Okay.
And it was one of the best experience I've had in my life.
Yeah.
Even though it had challenges, sometimes I didn't even sleep.
Yeah.
Because we'd have events after events.
Yeah, a lot of events.
For these stuff. I've cooked for many of the Guyanese presidents were there.
Yep. A lot of dignitaries.
I remember Mr. Donald Ramatar came one day and he said to me, Jason, I did 4 laps around the house. And this cake, I cannot resist it.
Yeah.
And at that time, Roger Luncheon was there and he was like this. And that man snatched that cake from Roger and said, you're not eating that? You wasted that? Give it to me.
Yeah.
And he ate that cake. He's like, I'm going to do 4 more rungs added to my other 4 and I'm going to be good for this cake.
You made a great cake.
Yeah.
What was like the regular menu day to day look like?
A lot of grilled food.
Lot of grilled, okay.
The ambassador would try to eat healthy. Even though every week I'll have to make cookies to him so he could snack on.
Yeah.
He'd always try to eat healthy. Him and his wife, pretty much healthy food every single day. Salads, a lot of grilled fish. Everything mostly was grilled food that I did.
Okay, and you did breakfast, lunch, dinner, or just like
I did breakfast, lunch, dinner.
breakfast, lunch, and dinner?
The chef for the ambassador himself. I would plan all the menus that will happen throughout his period of time there. And even if we have events, I was part of selecting the stuff that I felt as though would have worked good for cocktail items. Because one of my things as a chef, it's health and preventing people from get food poisoning. There's a
Yeah.
lot of stuff that could be eaten right away, but could not stand up to the time of a cocktail
Of
event.
a cocktail event, I got you. Yeah,
So
it can't be sitting out
we
for
would
too long.
try to like take those things off the menu, especially if we're doing stuff out of the kitchen, I would say.
Yeah.
Out of my kitchen, then I would say, you know what, let me just go through the menu and see stuff that could actually sit up in the temperature.
Oh, gotcha. So let's move forward to when I first met you. I met you when you were modeling. So let's talk about that. How did you get into the fashion industry and get into modeling?
God, Orlando, that's way back.
Yeah, that's when I first met you, Jason Shurland. You was a model. You weren't a designer. You was a model, exactly.
I can't remember how I got into the industry, to be honest with you.
By the way, so were you working at that time while you were modeling? You were
I
still...
was working at the US Embassy.
Okay, you're still working at the... Okay.
I was working at the US Embassy at that point in time. My boss, as I said, was quite supportive. Any show that I had, he would come to.
Nice.
And every clippings that was in the papers, he would sit and cut it out. He would sit and cut it and say, oh, I saw you here, and I cut it out for you. I did the work already for you.
Nice.
To be honest with you, Orlando, I can't remember what was the first gig I did.
Yeah.
But I know that I met Sonia Noel, and I had known Melissa Payne.
Yeah, Melissa
from
Payne.
before. My cousin did a pageant, and Melissa Payne was a person who was helping groom her and putting stuff together and stuff. So I had met Melissa Payne from then. And my clothing, Melissa would always look at it and she would say, this looks good. Where did you get it from? And I said, you know what, I made this.
Nice, yeah.
And Melissa decided one year to say, Jason, you need to put this out there. Sonia said, you're on the show. I'm not taking, you know how Sonia is.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm not taking no excuse. You're on the show and that's it.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
And from there, that is where challenges start.
Okay, but you modeled for what, a couple of years. You did a couple of fashion shows.
I did a couple of years.
The Ghana Fashion Weekend, right?
I did Ghana Fashion Week.
Yeah.
I did all the fashion shows that Sonia probably had.
Yeah, you did all the fashion shows. Now, during those years doing the fashion shows, when did you think about starting to get into designing?
I never thought about it.
I know Melissa asked you.
I just knew that Melissa said, so let's do it.
Yeah.
And she's like, I'm going to collaborate with you and we're going to push to and get it done. I thought, okay, let me see how I could work about this and get it done.
Do you remember your first piece that you guys worked on?
At that point in time, I really was into like doing stuff for myself. So I decided, okay, I'm just gonna do jackets.
Yeah.
Because I really love jackets at that point in time. But it wasn't easy. At that point, my mom taught me of some of the sewing that I actually know.
Yeah.
Because she used to sew and I didn't know all about the structure and stuff. And I said, you know what? What could I do? I met somebody and I said, you know what? Just help me along with this. I work along with them. They taught me. And I said, okay. We put together stuff. I made sure everything was finished to my liking. It had to be neat. Even though I said to myself, you know, this is the first time I did not want to see anything untidy.
Yeah.
I got...
So basically no formal training?
At that point.
No, okay. So you just went with somebody that was already...
I just hired somebody and said, you know what? Just help me, train me in whatever way that I can, and that's it.
And you worked along with them?
And I worked along.
Okay, okay, good. And then you put out pieces after that?
Well, yes, we did. I did put out pieces after
So you put out some jackets?
But getting to that point to put out the pieces was a struggle because I was working, one.
Yeah, don't skip anything. Talk about everything.
At the same time, I still had to make appearances. Sony was pushing you to do interviews. We had to make appearances at these places. I had to be leaving job to get these stuff done, and my boss was very understanding at that time.
Yeah.
I had to pay to enter the fashion show, and I clearly remember I went to Sonia to pay her, and she had a chef competition. And she called me, she said, Jason, come and manage the whole thing because like there are young chefs coming up and we need to get them to get the food out fast.
Yeah.
So I went and I managed it, and at the same point in time, I decided that I'm going to walk with the money to pay Sonia. And I left my bag down Orlando.
Hey.
And when I left my bag down and went back to that bag to pay Sonia to enter that show, there was no money there.
Hey.
And I picked up my bag. I remember I picked up my bag. The competition was almost over and I left. And in that period of leaving, somebody saw me. A news reporter actually saw me leave and he's like, no, something is wrong here. And he called me. He said, Jason, what's wrong? And I was like, my money just got stolen. And And he's like, why did you? In my mind, I never thought
Yeah.
that would have happened to me. I went home. We were already building jackets and all these stuff for the collection.
Yeah.
I went home and I told my mom, and my mom said, oh gosh, how this happened. By the way, my mom just got in the country. My
Yeah.
mom was in the States. My mom just got in the country when I was already building this collection. So she was bringing back stuff for me
Yeah.
to put on this collection. And she was like, what you gonna do? I was like, I don't want to do it anymore. I felt disappointed because
They took all
you
your
know,
money?
my money went, and
They didn't leave back
I was
nothing
like,
for you?
no,
Not small change, nothing? Not boss
I just
fear?
went, and then I spent maybe 2 days after. My mom called me and she said, I was out. The driver pick her up, and the driver said to her, and she was explaining to him that what happened and how I lost my money. And the driver said to her, you never know how far your son is gonna reach with this thing. Give him the money to do it. And she came home and she said, you know what? You're not dropping out of this.
Yeah.
She's like, you want to drop out, but you're not going to drop out of this. And I remember my mom gave me that money to pay to enter Fashion Week in US dollars.
Nice.
And just how I got that US dollars, I went straight and paid Sonia.
Nice. Very
But
supportive mother.
before there, Sonia had already tried calling me to get me to do the show. So I was like, I don't want to do the show. If I'm going to be around fashion and then you have to be securing your stuff sometime because the different people walking in as models and all these stuff. It's the truth of it.
People
And
fingers are sticky, man.
they pick up your stuff like that. It's
Yeah.
like you can't trust the people that you're around.
You definitely can. Not in that situation, I can tell you right now. They're definitely sticky fingers within the fashion industry. So mom and your other sibling, everybody was very supportive of you getting into the fashion industry?
Well, my mom was supportive at one point because I remember even telling my mom that I wanted to be a fashion designer before.
Yeah.
And I told her I wanted to be a chef. My mom was also a chef also. So she would cook certain things and I would just follow in her steps. So she would teach me certain techniques.
Yeah.
And I said to her, you know what, I wanted to be a chef. And then one time I said to her, you know what, I want to be a designer. And she said to me, at that point in time, there weren't much designers that persons would have looked to and said, you know what, they are making a living off of it.
Yeah.
And my mom said, you can't make a living off of that. Just go and be a chef. And when I left school, she just pushed towards that.
Yeah, she pushed you towards that career path.
So she is supportive now, but at that point, I felt as though she didn't see the bigger picture of it.
I guess she wanted you to have a stable job.
As most parents do.
Yeah, a weekly or a monthly salary that's stable, because being a designer is hit or miss. We already know that already.
No.
Yeah. But I love that you had your job and you were also pursuing something that you love, which was designing.
Yep.
Now, do you remember when your first big fashion show moment came? When you did a nice collection that you put out? Was it at Sonia's event? Or was it
No.
after?
I did not do Sonia's event as yet. We were in the process of doing Sonia's event, building stuff, and Fashion Week, as you know, it's a long period. Sonia planned this thing maybe a year ahead, and we were in the process of doing it. But before that, I had done a coin swimsuit,
Okay.
and that's where most persons remember me from. That swimsuit was building for a Caribbean pageant.
Nice.
At that point, I think Alicia Bess was entering a Caribbean pageant,
Okay.
but
yeah.
then she hopped in and did Jam Zone at that time.
Yeah.
And when she was doing Jam Zone, the swimsuit was already building for that Caribbean event.
Gotcha.
And she said to me, I remember she called me, she said, Jason, they selected somebody else to do this swimsuit. And even though it's nice, I don't feel I'm comfortable in it because
Yeah.
I feel as though since I saw the coin swimsuit, I could win with that.
Yeah, gotcha.
So she went behind every person who was in charge of that particular pageant back and said, I'm not wearing that swimsuit that you guys selected for me. I'm wearing the one that Jason made.
Okay.
And the impact behind that swimsuit, because everybody went, when she came out stage and everybody saw the swimsuit, it was bronze, and I tried to get the clean coins, no coins. We got coins from every direction.
Nice. Yeah.
And build that swimsuit. And when everybody saw it and then the description behind it, it left everybody jaw dropped because they were like, that swimsuit's made out of coins. It was layered in such a way,
Yeah.
and polished and fitted her so nice that you had to be close to it to know that it was actually Kongs. You would have thought that that was just a sequence fabric.
Nice.
And eventually, I won the creative swimsuit segment for that pageant,
Okay.
and that is what took my career off.
Okay, so the coin swimsuit, Alicia Best, you got to thank her for that.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So after that moment, what was your next big moment?
After that, I went straight into Ghana Fashion Week.
Okay, Guyana Fashion Weekend, and you made your first
And I
collection.
made my first collection, and then I started doing a lot of interviews after that. But before that, I was already doing interviews because of the swimsuits. Added even more to it, and everybody was more excited to see what I was going to do at Fashion Week. And then after I did Fashion Week, I sold some of my pieces.
No, those were the mostly jackets that you made for Guyana.
Mostly male jackets.
Male jackets for
Male
Guyana Fashion Week.
jackets.
Okay, that was the one that was kept at the Princess Hotel,
No, that's
Pegasus,
Rahaman Spark.
Rahaman Spark. Okay, that was that one. I remember that one. I was there. Okay, so you did the mostly jackets, and you got some of those sold afterwards.
Oh, right away.
Right away. Okay, and then what came next after that?
What came next after that? I went back to my 9-to-5 job, as
Went back-
everybody
yep,
would say.
mhm.
I went back to my 9-to-5, and I started doing like just pieces of my friends, because my friends would always ask for the stuff that I was wearing. So I continued like just doing pieces of my friends, and I would just post them and stuff, not taking this thing serious.
Yeah.
And then came the dark side, I have to say.
Let's talk about the dark side.
At that point in time, the ambassador at the point I was working with, he left, a new ambassador came,
Yeah.
and I was working with that ambassador for let's say 6 months. I was there like 6 months working,
Yeah.
and I was doing everything. I was always on time. I was doing everything. There was every event that I was always on time with my food and making sure everything was
In
every
order.
T
Yeah.
was crossed, every I was dotted. And I remember a few questions were thrown at me as to how long I was here at the embassy working. And I had an inner gut feeling
Yeah.
that my time was coming close for me to leave. And I had already done inventory for my whole kitchen that particular week.
Okay.
And I mean, a lot of people don't know what a kitchen looks like. That kitchen that I work in was huge. I had maybe like 5,000 pieces in that kitchen that I had to do inventory for every year.
Yeah.
So I was doing inventory for that and going through every day. They would send these guys, and the guys would come and with like a list. Like sometimes it's 20 pages, and their list is full of everything that I'm supposed to have in there.
Okay.
And I have to be accounted for. you
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
And I did the inventory, and it was coming close to Friday, and I'd already, told one of my close worker that was there, that something is up. I'm getting that. She's like, you feel that way? And I remember my boss at the time called me in the office, and he said, I need to have a word with you. And I knew it was going to happen, and he said, we're not renewing your contract,
Yeah.
and we're letting you go, and this is your document to sign off. And I left, and I just signed my document. I was like, okay, I already had gotten this gut feeling that this was going to happen.
But you'd already spent 5 years plus.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he said to me, do you want to know the reason? And I said, sure, I'm here. Let's know the reason.
You put too much salt in the eggs.
And he said, I came and I didn't really get to select any of my staff that I had to work with. And it's not that you're not good. You're good. You're talented. But I felt as though I want to select my chef that I wanted.
Yeah.
And I said, fine, great. I wasn't upset. I remember I packed my stuff up, and my co-workers, they were doing their work, and I went back to my work because I was going to leave my kitchen clean and everything back in place,
Yeah.
And he called my co-workers, and he said, well, I don't know what he said, but they went into the room, and all I remember, everybody came out crying and running to me and hugging me and said, I'm so sorry that this happened. I packed everything, I left.
So you left that same day?
I left the same day. I left
That
the
was your
same-
last day?
That's my last day.
Oh, okay.
Orlando, to tell you, I was so upset with the way it was done.
Yeah, I thought you had
I
like a
was
period
so-
of
I wasn't
couple of
given
weeks or
no
something.
notification or everything. I was so upset. I just packed everything and left. When I left, one of the things I got home and I told my aunt, and she said, "Well, that happens." And
Yep.
I sat down for like a week. I remember going to Street Styles and said, "You know what? I'm gonna spend some money because I haven't spent my money. I've been saving my money."
So you
I went to
bought,
Street Styles.
bought
and
some fresh gear.
I bought a hat at Street Styles for $20,000.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, why did you do that? You don't even know where your next money's coming from.
You gotta
And I
spend
just-
20 G's.
I just said, okay, whatever, man. And I just sat down. In my thoughts, I was analyzing what I'm gonna do. I had a lot of savings that I could have sat down for like maybe like a month.
Yeah.
So I sat down and analyzed what I wanted to do next. There were many offers on the table for me to do. And talking about offers,
Just come a little closer so you can hear. Yeah.
speaking about offers, before I actually left the embassy, an ambassador had approached me and he asked me right on spot to leave the US embassy and come with his embassy to work for him. He's like, I'm gonna pay you double, just come. But I felt in my heart my loyalty was to the US embassy.
Yeah.
I felt that, I was young, they gave me an opportunity. I just wanted to finish it good.
Yeah.
And on a level where they're going to hire another Guyanese as the chef.
Gotcha.
So I got a lot of offers and I was like, I don't know what I wanted to do, but I then decided that, I was home. I said, you know what, I'm going to put some work into my business and stuff. And I started my business.
Yeah.
And when I started my business, it wasn't the smoothest road.
Yeah, talk about it.
I left and I went back to work.
Oh, so you
Okay.
started the business, then you left and went back to back into cooking, to chef?
Yeah,
Being a chef?
I went back because Orlando, I know about getting a salary at the end of the week.
Every single week, you gotta get that money, baby.
I could not handle it. I was spending more than I was actually making.
Yeah.
So I said, you know what? I'm going back to my work. This cannot feed me. I'm accustomed to a certain lifestyle and money.
Yeah.
I have to go back to work. And I went back to work maybe like, how long? I didn't spend long, maybe like 2 months at most.
Maybe 2 months back to work?
2 months back to being a chef.
Yeah. Was it challenging?
No, it wasn't
It wasn't?
because I was hired as a head chef. I came in late to the work with great qualifications
Yeah.
and experience, and I was hired as a head chef. So I just went in and changed stuff and make stuff better
Gotcha.
for the business. So I spent maybe like 2 months there, and one of the things I learned is that anytime you make changes in a business and you're coming as a young person at that point, and there are older people in the business longer than you, and expect that I'm going to get the head chef position and
Yeah, you done
somebody else can't come and take my space.
Yeah, you know it goes
was
already.
very difficult.
Yeah.
So I left and I went back to designing, and somebody called me and gave me a contract for some large work, and I did the work, and I said,
Designing-
you know what?
designing work,
Designing
right?
work. And
Okay,
I said, you know
nice.
what? I'm going to invest in myself, and I prayed, and I said, you know what, God, I am not turning back from this. If I'm going to fail, I'm going to fail. If I'm going to succeed, I'm going to succeed. Whatever I have to go through, I'm going to go through with it, because I felt as though I was going back and forth all the time when it comes to fashion.
Yeah.
At one point I was focusing more on being a chef, and then the next time I was focusing on being a designer. I was like, this is not it.
Yeah.
I need to say goodbye to
One or
this
the
for now
one or the other, right?
and focus on my business.
Yeah.
And I focus on my business.
What year was that you decided to like focus strictly on designing?
This had to be 2017 or 2018. it
Okay.
was.
Yeah.
I decided to focus everything on my business. And then I started gathering everything that I could possibly need and started working. And at first, work was not as much, but as I said, I'm always the type of person to save. So I put up for wet days, as Guyanese would say.
Yeah, definitely.
I put up for wet days and I pulled through the struggles, the hurdles I pulled through. There were sometimes things, Orlando, that at that point in time you couldn't even get in Guyana.
Yeah.
So
You gotta source it on. You gotta source it overseas.
sourcing it, sometimes I source it, sometimes my mom, she travels and I'd send her to the stores and I said, here, we'll pick this up there.
Yep.
Go to Jamaica Avenue, pick this up. And I even had a designer reached out to me one time. And she picked up some of the stuff that I actually wanted.
Okay.
Pat coats, I must mention that.
Yeah, no Pat.
She was leaving to go to the United States and she called me. She said, Jason, do you need anything? And I said, yes. I said, but I've sent mommy. And mommy at that time I didn't even know where the fabric district was, where the places to sell trim or anything was. And mommy's in Till in another state. And I'm telling her, no, catch a train, head down there.
Yeah, the garment district.
And Pat picked up everything for me. Mom met her some halfway somewhere, and mom gave her the cash, and she said, just get whatever he wants. And Pat picked up everything for me, brought it back in her suitcase, and I was forever grateful for that.
Okay, that's nice.
Forever grateful.
Yeah. So at that point, was your sewing better? Now at that point, you were
At that
much better at it.
point, yes, I was making sure finish was good.
Yeah.
Everything was very detailed. At that point in time. But I felt as though I didn't get to show who I really was at that point because there wasn't a lot of work coming in.
Yeah, the
And
orders
some
weren't coming in.
Of the things that I wanted to do,
Yeah,
it was expensive to get it done.
gotcha.
So
What was your first big breakthrough in terms of, okay, this person wants a gown, a dress, so I can really show my creative side. I can make this for her.
I remember I had done Miss Barbie's
pageant. Okay.
Like, I can't remember how many years ago. And I was already doing clothing, like, because I'd already, introduced myself as a designer who would create jackets and stuff. I was already doing that. But one of the things that I studied to Orlando was business. So I sat down and looked at it when I was planning everything for my business. And I said, you know what? There is a market here for certain things, and I'm going to tap into it. And I remember a young lady came to me from Burberry's, and she said, she was assigned to me to do her gong and stuff, and we went through it. And funny thing about it is we spoke to her the other day too, and she said, I still have that silver gong, I would never give up on it.
Oh yeah, that's good. She still kept it.
At that point, the organizer of the pageant found sponsors for the girls.
Yeah.
And I was given a very low budget. So what I did is actually pull the money that I was supposed to use for her swimsuit and for her talent wear, and we put it towards her evening gown because in my head I knew what I wanted.
Yes.
And the fabric was in the United States. I bought it online, shipped it in, and she was so much in agreement in everything that I wanted to do. She said, if we have to pull money from here, let's pull money from here. Let's get it done or whatever.
Okay.
I pushed that girl so much in terms of preparation.
Yeah.
I grew up looking at Miss Universe. My mom used to tell me, and I know that every Guyanese would have heard this at some point. Miss Universe, we only hear Miss Guyana's name and that's it.
One time.
But I always would want to watch the pageant out, and my mom would get irritated with me because she's like, we're not going to place at this, we're not going to place.
Yeah.
And in me sitting and watching the pageant, I could always tell my mom, that girl is going to win. And that will always be the girl who's going to win. And she said, how do you know this? I said, if you looked at her, she did like this kind of turn here. She did something extra.
Yeah.
Even though she was doing the routine, like she had a little bit spark to her.
Yeah.
So I went in with that same attitude to Miss Barbie's pageant. And we prepared. I even hired a car at that time and went up to Barbie's with part of my team at that point. And
Oh, you had a team?
I had a team.
Oh, you fancy. Okay.
I had a team already, and I
Yeah.
hired that team, and we went up,
Yeah.
and I was there backstage with her, dressing her and everything, and I remember she was contestant number 8, and she looked at everybody. That's one of the things that I always tell pageant girls don't do. She looked at everybody performing,
Yeah.
and she said to me, she's like, everybody has a trick, and I need to go out there with a trick or a reveal. But she had already told me when I was leaving town to walk with a jacket. She's like, walk with a jacket.
Yeah.
And she's like, give me that jacket. And I said to her, I said, I'm not giving you that jacket. I said, you go out on stage there and you dance. And if your foot break, we'll fetch you off. I said, you're not. I said, if everybody's doing a trick, somebody popped out of a box, somebody did a costume change. I was like, you're not doing that. We have to be different.
Yeah.
She did not do it. She listened to me. And then came evening gong segment. And I remember being that she was contestant number 8, everybody said, people were backstage and saying to me, makeup artist was saying, I hope you came with a good gong. And the trainer said to me, she said, Jason, I hope you came with a good gong. I said, I have this. And the ambience was just nerve-wracking at that point, because that's like my first girl I'm pushing out there, right?
Yeah.
And I had to be running back and forth to get the makeup artist, dressing doing somebody else's makeup. I'm like,
Yeah.
back and forth. And I was like, get the hair fixed. And he's like, what color do you want the lip? I was like, no, I don't want anything too. And he's like, no, let's put red. I was like, no, I don't want that. And we running back and forth with them. The hairstylist are pulling them. And I was like, no, because when you're at number 8 and every other number's already on stage, you have now a limited time to now push.
Yeah.
To go. So I was like, just get her hair fixed, just get everything fixed. And I'm going to get the gong on. And we placed the gong on her. And I remember the trainer at that point in time came and said, wow. And she nodded her head, and we helped her on stage, and she went on stage. And when she went on stage, I think my heart was dropping, Orlando.
Yeah.
My heart was dropping. I was like, I wonder how people are going to receive it. It was a silver gong. I love silver. I love gold, bronze, copper gongs. And
Yeah.
those are not the gongs that,
Are popular.
like stand out in terms of Caribbean pageants and Guyanese pageants.
Yeah,
People
gotcha.
we're Caribbean, we love color and all this stuff.
Yeah, we love that vibrant color.
So I did the silver, and I was like, okay, let's see how it goes. And she had a cape on, and she took the cape off, and everybody saw the gun. The crowd went wild.
Yeah.
But I knew to myself, not just having a good gong that's it. She needed to answer that question. And
Yep.
one of the things I did as a designer, I invested in her in terms of going through questions and how should it be answered and
Yeah,
everything.
coaching basically, yeah.
So by the time we were standing backstage and I was standing next to her, and every one of the girls, and mind you, that particular year at that pageant, security was like, police officers were there backstage barring anybody who could come in. So I was just standing there, and the police officers were there. Everywhere you turned, there were police officers. I stood there, and the police officer said, from 1 to 7, nobody. He said, there's nobody that has given me a queen answers yet. And came number 8. She went up, and the same question I threw to her,
Yeah.
the same question they threw to her, and she knew it. She delivered.
Yep.
And when she delivered, I knew at that point in time that I had a queen on my hands. We were standing backstage. They took forever, Orlando, forever to come back with his scoring. And I remember people started rushing backstage, and people that already knew I was the designer, and they were like, something sounds wrong, because there were 2 girls standing on stage, my girl and the other girl's first runner-up. And the host was saying that the girl who's winning the pageant tonight has on 2 colors. And I said to myself, and my assistant is there right next to me, and I said, well, my dress is only silver.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the hell is going on? I was like, no, this pageant is cheated. Because if this is going to happen so blatantly in front of my face, I was like, no, this pageant is cheated. And I just sat there, and we were listening, and the host took a long time to announce.
Yeah.
And he started saying the person has on 2 colors in the evening gown. And the crowd, when he said that, the crowd went wild because everybody said no.
Yeah.
If they're going with a girl with 2 colors, the pageant is cheating.
Yeah.
And I totally forgot, Orlando, that I had put midnight purple stones on my gown.
Okay.
I had totally forgot that was on my gown.
So silver, midnight purple.
So midnight purple was on it, but I just used the midnight purple there to just get the lights to reflect on the gong.
Yes.
So it wasn't predominant, but the host could see it.
Yeah.
And they announced her as the winner, Orlando. Tears in my eyes.
Yeah.
Tears in my eyes. Even my assistant was crying. She's like, because at one point she said, they're cheating you? You know, they're cheating you. She's like, they're cheating you. And the crowd went wild and everybody congratulated me.
Yeah.
That year that she won, I did not win Best Gown.
She won overall pageant.
She won the overall pageant. I didn't win Best Gown. And I didn't felt any way about it because I said, you know what?
Yeah.
The main objective was to win the pageant.
What's to win the pageant?
Orlando, I'm telling you, as I'm sitting here, we got images from the pageant.
Yeah.
And I placed it on Facebook. And my image had over 1,000 likes.
Yeah, yeah.
The amount of shares, everybody was like...
You know, there's always some politics involved in these type of things, right? We already know that already.
I was shocked because when I got home,
Yeah.
traveling down from Burberry's, we traveled down back the same night. I didn't sleep in Burberry's.
Okay.
The pageant finished at 3 o'clock in the morning. We were 3 o'clock traveling down
Oh,
back.
wow, yeah.
And I remember getting home and my aunt knocked on my door in the morning. And she's like, how did you do? I was like, I won, but I didn't win Best Gown. And she's like, she said to me, and that thing resonated with me till now. She said, you know, if they don't give you Best Gown, it's not going to stop you.
No, it's not going to stop you.
She said, it's not going to stop you. You know, continue doing good work or whatever, and that's it.
Yep.
And she said, you don't have to win for people to know that you're doing good.
Yeah, definitely.
So I left it and I was like, whatever, let's move on with life. And I think that is what birthed me into
who you are today?
Who I am today, yeah.
So now you moved on from that. That was your first
pageant.
First pageant. But it wasn't your first gown, or was it your first gown? Like your first gown you made for...
That was my first pageant gown.
Your first pageant gown, okay. So now you are Jason Shurland. You're a household name in the fashion industry. Talk about like working with clients day to day and pageantry contestants. Obviously, you do fashion. You have girls that model and model your pieces. How has that experience been?
Challenging at some point.
Yeah.
But you have to put measures in place every time a mistake happens or something comes up that it's not comfortable enough for me.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things that I had to sit down with my lawyers and do is formulate contracts for every single thing. So that was one of the major challenges. When I tell you every single thing, Orlando,
yeah,
photographers, makeup artists and I are good. Makeup artists are good.
Yeah.
But photographers, and everybody else who's a part of the team, we had to sit down and had great conversations with persons who are doing hair, who's doing makeup, who is assisting on the photo shoot day, videographer, and I had to say to them, you know what? I expect a certain level of professionalism with everybody, and I expect greatness.
Yes,
so
definitely.
every time we're on site, if I don't see something that you see wrong, stop the photo shoot and get it fixed.
Yeah.
If the hair is not the way that we planned it out and I'm not seeing it, let's get it fixed.
Yeah.
So my hairstylists and makeup artists, everybody that I work with, they already know what has happened. I just did a pageant and the hair was not the way that we had planned it.
Okay.
And my makeup artist called me. She's like, Jason, did you see this hair?
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I didn't see the hair because I'm home. Like, and she's like, I'm gonna send you a picture of it. Something is wrong here. I know that you would not approve this. And I called my hairdresser and I said, I think you picked up the wrong image because the hairstyle that she did was on not event. And she's like, oh, I got it mixed up. I was like, run down there now. I'm not gonna be comfortable with it.
Yeah.
Go now. So the understanding that I have with my team, it's a blessing.
That is good. But talk about the other parts of of the fashion industry that people don't know about? All the juicy stuff that happens.
Orlando.
I know
It's not.
everybody
It's
got weird
not,
clients.
It's not a smooth road. I will tell everybody, it's not a smooth road. Look out for yourself.
Yeah.
Most of the time, as I said, make sure you cover yourself with contracts with every single body.
But before you even had the contract, you probably had something that happened that led to you even doing up contracts.
There was a lot that's happened before.
Yeah,
that,
talk about one or two of those incidents, man. Let the people know. You don't gotta
that
call.
I was not comfortable with.
Don't call no names, like I always say. You can talk, but don't call no names. Don't get nobody in trouble.
If we hire, this is how I look at it. It's business at the end of the day.
Yeah, it is.
And
business.
if I hire a model for a shoot, I have to pay her for the time that she's there. I have to pay the videographer for the time, the photographer, and everybody for the time. So if anybody shows up late, it's on the whole team because everybody's going to be hold back, and then I'm the person responsible for payments. I have to pay everybody more.
Yeah.
And then when everything is finished and you don't get the end results, for instance, let's say a photographer doesn't give me the photo the way that I told him that, we want it and we have this kind of vision, or the quality is not good to my standard.
Yeah.
Look at it, Orlando. I have to pay a model. I have to pay a driver to drive this model around because sometimes I have to take the model to the makeup artist, to the hairstylist and everything.
Correct.
Because everybody's busy doing their own stuff. Even though I have people who I could call and say, hey, I need this hair done or whatever, everybody else has their own job going on.
Yes.
I'm not pulling people permanently to say, oh, you permanently structured with me.
Yeah.
You are just here part of the team when we have to work. You don't know the whole day. It's going to take us 3 hours or 4 hours to do the shoot. You're going to be paid for that. And we have to pay the photographer, the videographer. We have to pay every single person have to be paid.
Everybody got to get paid.
So imagine a whole shoot being spoiled. My money now is gone down the drain there, and nobody's taking responsibility for it.
Yeah.
Nobody. So even sometimes photographers give you photos sometime late.
Yeah, that's a normal
And
thing.
you have a certain time period when you have to push stuff out because especially when you work in, I don't think people understand this, especially when you're working for like companies and you have to sign contracts and people don't know that you sign a contract because I don't get into details with photographers and hairstylists and makeup artists that I had to sign contracts for these stuff.
Yeah.
I just keep that to myself and my law and I deal with it. So now when it's messed up and it's not to the standard that I like it to and I can't send this to the client, I now have to redo everything and that's a failure. So as much as you want to come into the industry or you're going to come in the industry, you have to protect yourself when it comes to these things because you're going to go down the same road that I went down to.
Yeah, definitely. You're absolutely 100% right. You got to protect yourself. Let's talk about some of the designers that you like. Give me a couple of Guyanese designers that you like, and then give me a couple international designers that you like.
That's a list, Orlando.
Just give me a couple. It could be like 2 or 3.
The person that I actually looked up to and saw beyond the fashion industry and it is like business for her, Sonia Noel.
Sonia Noel, yep.
Sonia Noel, she's beyond fashion when she does a fashion show. It's business. She deals with every single thing.
Yeah.
She deals with the runway, how it's built, the show, the models, the payments, her collection, everybody else's collection, articles, photo shoots, everything she do. So I looked up to her for that because she was multitasking everything.
Yeah.
And she was doing it for me very well. I was looking at her and said, this is where I want to be.
Okay, yeah. Give me another one that's one.
Love. I grew up looking at Donna Ramsamy in the papers every Sunday.
Yep, Donna Ramsamy.
Every Sunday.
She's been about for a long time.
Every Sunday when my grandfather would buy papers,
Yeah.
I am pulling out. The first thing I'm looking at is the fashion side because Donna Ramsamy was in there almost every Sunday.
Yeah.
And I was looking at her to see what next is happening, what is she doing herself growing up.
Yeah.
But current designers, I mean, I love everybody because everybody has a different flair of style of
that
what
is true.
they do. I really don't want to pull somebody.
No,
but,
listen, this is the question I ask all designers that come in the showroom. You got to answer and tell me a couple designers that you like. You call Donna Ramsamy, you call Sonia Noel. Just give me one more then. I'm sure there's some other designers out there currently that you like their work. You see them from time to time when you guys probably do pageantry and stuff like that.
I love. There's a guy called Mark Jr. His brand is Cromanage.
Chromonage, okay.
I love Mark's work.
Okay.
Mark work is creative. He is very Afrocentric,
Yeah.
and he has a very unique style that he pushes beyond sometimes what I could even think of as a designer. But he's always very open in terms of conversations to have when he sees me and he said, how do you feel about this or how do you feel about that? And he's somebody that I look to that says, you know what? He pushes beyond what I can think.
Okay.
And because of that, I do look at some of his work and say, you know what? This looks really good. I mean, like I saw one of his pieces the other day. He called me and he video chat me. He was doing a show and he had this male piece and I saw it and I said to myself, why does that look like a handbag?
Yeah.
There's like this very structured shirt. And the way it's structured, it kind of reminds me of a post box or a handbag. And I was like, he's like, it look like that to you? And I was like, just put a handle up top of that thing there and use the model as a handbag. You would see it.
Okay.
And he looked at it after. He's like, I didn't thought of that. I was just structuring it. And I said, it looks like a handbag to me. And I just love it because the structure of it. And that's one of the things for me as a designer is very important.
Nice.
You could have an really nice clothing, but the structure is more important. If the girl has to be, I hate to see people lifting guns and walking. So I would mostly look to many of the designers when they structure stuff really good. It fits the model comfortable.
Yeah.
She's able to walk, flow. The dress is able to move with her.
Yeah, I got you.
I look for these things.
Nice. Any international designers that you keep up with? You follow them? You watch their stuff on YouTube, maybe?
I grew up looking on YouTube for everything Versace would have done.
Yep.
My first time working for my own money, the first thing that I bought was a Versace Eros cologne.
Yeah, Versace.
Until
Eros.
now, that is something that I have to have in my wardrobe. But I look at his documentary and his story of how he started and how he branched off into doing. Do you even know Versace has cutlery, dishes? It's beyond tile.
Yeah, they branch off into a whole lot of
He
things.
branched off into so many creative avenues that I looked at it and said, this is the business of it.
Yeah.
I mean, you are a fashion designer at the end of the day, but your creativity is not limited to just clothing.
Definitely. Next question I have, I always want to ask this. I forgot to ask this to the other guests I had on. It's like, how are male designers so good at creating women clothing? Because you just talked about Versace. He was a man, you know what I mean? He was a man that was making beautiful gowns back in the early days. You also obviously have Ralph Lauren. You have Giorgio Armani. You have all these amazing. You have Dolce & Gabbana. That is two guys. They make beautiful gowns. What is it about men or male designers that are so great at making female clothing? You ever thought about that, by the way?
I have thought about it.
Okay.
Why some of us are perfecting the crafting and the structure of women clothing. I think it comes down to the era that we're living in.
Yep.
And every era that, moves and grows, we want to structure things a certain way. And the girls want their dresses or the coats or whatever you're doing to fit them a certain way.
Yep.
So I have looked at it and said to myself, most of the girls are looking at the girls on Instagram now and they want their waist to be snatched and they want their hips to look a certain way.
They could go buy it, you
For
know what I mean?
Caribbean women,
Yeah.
they do have the waistline that some people are, buying.
They're buying, yeah.
So it's easier for me to say, okay, I actually sat down and formulated a structure for my gowns
Yeah.
that the girls actually like, and they actually go to beyond of liking it to loving it. to help them to have that hourglass figure at every point of where they turn.
Nice.
I mean, it could get a little bit uncomfortable,
Yeah.
but at some point in time, you know you're gonna look good on stage when you see that nice shape that is there. So
Yeah,
I
that
think,
silhouette. Yeah.
I think for every, I don't know, but I can't speak for everybody, but
No.
I think the era of where you're living is where we as designers would grow and structure the clothing to that. Because if you look back, way back in the days of how clothing was structured, it was very big, very hangy
Yeah.
and stuff. So you know, just moving with the times and just knowing, you know, this is what the girls want to look like now.
Yeah.
You have to move with it.
Definitely. What advice would you give to upcoming new designers within the industry?
I would say keep your style. Don't ever lose your style. Don't ever lose your creativity. Even if you do not get to make the clothing, always sketch it, because there are some points when you're gonna hit a point and say, I don't know what to do and I need to pull something quickly. You must always able to go back to your portfolio
And go through your
or
sketches, yeah.
and say, here, well, we had this since then. We could pull this up and do this now. That is one of the things that I do right now. Keep contracts. Always keep contracts. The smallest thing that you're doing, keep a contract for it.
That's good advice.
You don't want to start growing a business and when you start growing it, you're losing.
Yeah.
You want to grow and at least able to save some kind of money from your business. So keep a contract with everything and believe in yourself, because there's a lot of times people are going to look and be like, oh, where are you going with this? Or where's somebody going with that?
Yeah.
Or whatever. But, you know, fashion is beyond what we could actually sometimes see. And you never know what the creative process is. Your portfolio does not have to look like everybody else.
That is true. Be different,
Your
stand out.
portfolio is yours. It has to look like yours.
Yeah.
If everybody was doing the same thing, then where would we be?
Yep. And also keep in mind that the playground is big enough where everybody can play. You don't have to
It's big.
It's
If
big
you don't-
enough.
If you don't like Jason Shurland, there are several other persons
Exactly.
that do gongs and do
Ready to
jackets
wear
and
everything.
ready to wear and
Yeah.
all these stuff. People have choices
You
to
have-
make,
You have.
and it's who they're comfortable with or who they find their personal style with.
Correct. Yep.
So it's never, for me in my head, Orlando, it's never a competition between any of the designers.
Yeah.
It's always that, okay, you know, people like you, people don't like you, people like this
Yeah.
or whatever.
And it's personal preference too.
And I think it's just sometimes, Orlando, let's be straight with it. It's just that Guyana is so small
Yeah, it's very small.
and we're so close knitted
Yeah.
that sometimes people get into their head that it's a competition, but it's never a competition. in
No,
my
it's
head.
not competition. I just think that people need to understand that there's enough persons around that to support your business, his business, my business, and we all could eat and survive, you know? Just got to work hard, though. You got to put out
You gotta
good
put
stuff.
in, gotta put in the work.
You got to put the hours in. What can we expect upcoming from Jason Shurland? Any new collection you're working on? Any fashion show you'll be taking part in, etc.?
I haven't done a fashion show, Orlando, for maybe 10 years.
Oh, wow. It's been now.
So it's in talk that I may do a fashion show. I'm not sure as yet.
You can be in our fashion show we're having next year.
You never know.
I'll reach out to you, don't
Everything
worry.
is- Everything is in the universe, and God is gonna take control of everything.
Yeah.
But for me, there's some things that I usually plan when the year starts.
Okay.
So for the end of the year, I'm gonna plan next year. And there's some things I left room for that I could just say, you know what, we're gonna pop up and we're gonna do this.
Yep.
But just know that I'm gonna be doing more marketing. I'm never gonna give up on marketing. Marketing is one of my things that I actually study too.
Okay.
So I'm never gonna give up on marketing and business because there's always room to grow even more
Yes.
beyond where I'm at. And I always keep a little prayer in my heart to say, God, take me beyond what I'm asking for. So you never know.
Yeah,
Just
man.
wait and see.
Okay. So how can persons reach you in case they want a piece, a gown? How can they get in contact with you?
All my social media is Jason Shurland. Facebook is Designer Jason Shurland.
Yep.
Facebook is Jason Shurland, also my personal page. Instagram is Jason Shurland. TikTok is Jason Shurland. And once you reach out to me on those platforms,
Yeah.
I will send you my business number, Business number is 648-3666.
Okay.
So you can hit me up on WhatsApp, but once you hit me up on any social, you get my business number right away that you could have a personal conversation with me.
Gotcha.
And we could
And you-
create.
And you're accepting clients for everything? Is it like everything or just like a specific pieces?
We're very open to accepting clients for everything once
perfect.
it is very manageable that I could work with.
Yeah. Once they got the
I'm
money.
I'm not doing any AI stuff.
No
I
AI
am
stuff.
not doing any
Yeah.
AI stuff. I don't even know where to even start building it when I look at it sometimes from the AI.
Yeah.
So we're not gonna do that, and we need to be realistic.
Yeah.
AI is out there, but
It's AI.
persons need to to be aware of it
Yeah.
because sometimes persons send you inspirational pictures and they say to you, I love this, and I'm like,
Jason,
do you
I
know
see
that's
it.
not a real person?
I see it every single week. Trust me, I see it we see it every single week.
That's not a real person. I don't even know.
Yeah.
I don't even know where to get that fabric from or even to start building it.
Artificial intelligence is now real. Listen, Jason, I want to say thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule, man, and coming in the showroom. It was a pleasure having you here. We talked about everything, and I hope that you have a successful career moving forward, even more successful career, and definitely next year when we do keep our fashion show, you already have an invite to come and showcase your collection, man.
Great.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Definitely, and that's a wrap.